Thank you for listening today on Revealing Wholeness, sponsored by Infinity Whole Health. Check out our website at infinityWholeHealth.com, where we are revealing the eternal in each individual, the infinite in the individual. The creativity is made manifest. Limitation is let go. Now, here's your host, Dr. Troy Munson.
Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Troy Munson on Revealing Wholeness. And today in the studio we have a guest, and it's a client that's a good friend and somebody I've known for a while now, and just it's been a pleasure to get to know and to take care of a lot of my clients, but I really enjoy Bill and what he's gone through and the things and the challenges and what we've seen. And we're going to get into his case, but right now, Bill, can you give us a little bit of information about where do you come from? Tell us a little bit about your background. Where were you? Where are you from?
Well, originally I'm from New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And so I grew up in Harlem. We left, I was 14 years old, moved to Bremerton, Washington, had a little culture shock.
I was going to say a little bit change there.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
So I went to, I was a sophomore in high school, and I graduated from Olympic College in Bremerton. Went to Western in Bellingham, got married after that, and started a life.
Yeah.
And so through a series of events, I started with a liquor board, 10 years with them, 5 years as a store manager, and let's just say gave my life to the Lord, and then things kind of changed.
Yeah.
And so he kind of let me know that wasn't the job that he wanted for me.
So you're working for a liquor board. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
imagine that.
I know. And I remember putting tracks in the bag with the bottle.
Really?
So I thought, I better stop this.
No wild stories. There are some wild stories.
Yeah, this is a state job. I better stop this. So anyway, I left that job, and then I started working with Wonder Bread.
Okay.
And so up to 5-6 years ago, I retired, and so I was with them for 31 years.
Wow.
And during that time, I visited a lot of chiropractors.
Yes,
because it's the type of job that you did a lot of twisting and bending and that type of thing. And so I remember once when my truck was T-boned. And so...
This is the semi.
Well, no, it was a big box truck.
Big box
delivery truck.
That's true. I've seen
so I got hit right under my seat. A couple of teenagers... decided that red light didn't mean anything to him. So, and I decided, I knew the green light did mean something.
Yeah.
So we kind of met.
Yes.
And so that kind of took care of my lower back for a bit. And I went to my chiropractor.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and did not realize how, companies were against chiropractic care.
Interesting.
And so when I told them where I went, they said, "You went where?" I went to my chiropractor. And so, but that was my choice. Sure. And so it was, that's the way it was. And so it took, I was on light duty for a while, but, I kind of fully recovered. So there wasn't any, he assured me there wouldn't be any residue or, and nothing out of the ordinary. So, and then that's the way it was. And so just over the years, at periodic chiropractic care, if I did something wrong and tweaked my back, I knew all I needed to do was get it untweaked, rather than sitting down, eating pills and waiting for things to happen. And so, and so I think the last doctor I went to, he would adjust me, and I was really having some issues because I was, the pain was increasing.
Mm.
And it got to a point to where even after our weekly adjustments or bi-weekly adjustments, I couldn't sit up in my car. It was getting worse and worse. And then I stopped going, and it literally healed up on its own.
Yeah.
And so I thought, oh my goodness. So I didn't know what was going on.
Sure.
But it was like he assured me, "Oh, I don't. It'll be okay. It'll be okay." And then extreme pain for a few days.
Sure.
So it was a little discouraging, and so I think just a few. Well, I think I've been working with you for over probably a year and a half, maybe.
Yeah, at least.
And so it's been a very pleasant experience. and you're adjusting the same areas, and so with the accident that I got in, I know part of it was affected my neck and my lower back, and so it wasn't nothing real bad, but like I say, you tweak it every now and then. I have to be careful, if I'm not careful, then and because I'm pretty active, and I like to do more than I should. Sure. So,
and that was one of the things I remember is I just kept thinking, you are so stiff and guarded, and then we started talking about calcium, and I know that we started doing some calcium, and we watched good changes. We watched strength come in, flexibility come in, and that was nice to see those tissues now really take that and go to a whole other level.
Yeah.
And then, your care transitioned. So tell me about that when we did the heart scan.
Oh, yeah, we did a heart scan, and being 69 years old, you figure something's going to give you trouble, or, and I have a tendency to ignore stuff.
Yes.
So you mentioned the heart scan, and I was curious, and so I took it, and looking at the graph that I got, I was surprised. And you let me know, Bill, your heart's tired and it's weak. And I knew that,
Sure.
because I longevity in my family is not a major factor. My dad was 66 when he left. My uncles were, I think the oldest person that I know was my mom, and she was 75. And so, but with the type of work that I did, as hard as I worked, I figured I was just going to work myself to death, and that was going to be the end of it. So I just accepted whatever,
Yeah.
But you told me about the supplements that you gave me. And it wasn't that big of a deal, It's not like a big major,
program.
Yeah. And so I started taking them, and I started feeling better. And in 6 months, we did a heart scan again. And would you tell me I was one of your best patients?
It was impressive. It really
I looked at that graph and I thought, wow.
Yeah.
Big difference.
A huge difference.
And so, yeah.
Energy, sleeping.
I usually never. I 30 years with Wonder Bread. The hours are early, and so I'm getting up at 1-2 o'clock in the morning, and so between that and having a wife and kids and trying to do the family life, I averaged about 5 hours a night. So I did that for 30 years, and I hear a lot. You did. Wow, you're crazy. You can't do that. Well, I did it.
Apparently, yeah.
I figured it'd catch up with me one of these days, but I don't have any problem sleeping.
So beyond changing, or at least adding some supplements and doing a program, I believe we also did we lowered grains, we lowered sugar.
Yeah, we talked about diet, and that
And that
makes a difference.
That was significant, yeah. And again, somebody that's willing to go to those lengths, we would expect to see great changes like you had in 6 months, because that's pretty right on track. And it's always fun to see great results like you had. I love it. And more so, it's we won't know until we get to the end. How did we do?
Yeah.
Are you 95 with grandkids on your lap?
Yeah.
You get to wait and see.
I don't know if I want to hang around that long.
I totally agree there.
But no, it's good. It's good. I feel pretty good. My energy level's good. We do our food bank every Friday, and yesterday we picked up 180 boxes of banana chips, and today we got 5 pallets of food, and it's all got to be unloaded and set up, and so it's a good exercise program.
It is indeed.
But I know where the line is, because I've got a wife who's kind of keeping an eye on me.
Yeah.
She wants me around.
She does.
So. She
awesome.
Watches me real close.
Awesome. Well, any closing thoughts before we sign off?
Oh, I just appreciate, you're a naturopathic doctor, and I'm kind of thinking that overall, you don't get the respect that you deserve. Just watching. I've got relatives that have been ill, and they go to the doctor and they put them on this pill, and in this pill they got side effects, so they put them on that pill, and
Sure.
And my dad called them, this one doctor that we kind of grew up with in Bremerton, called him a pill doctor.
Yeah.
Every time you go to him, you get a pill.
Sure.
Between that and my wife being really health conscious, and she appreciates what you do. And so,
awesome.
Yeah, every time I ended up in the hospital one time, I've got, it was called tachycardia. Mm. And I would have a bout probably every couple of months, and it's been a while now, which is good. Yeah, and so that hasn't been a real big issue, and so I think that's part of what I've been doing.
So your heart would just often race.
Yeah, I could be sitting down, and if I lean over, and it would bump against my rib cage or something, and just take off. I'd get up to about 150 beats. And then after 3-4 hours, it's like you're worn out.
Oh, man.
You just gotta relax and wait for it to slow down. Oh, and that's traumatic. But the older you get, you're more susceptible to stroke. And so with the one doctor, they wanted to put me on the blood thinners and all the synthetic weird. And between my wife and you, we went a different route. I'm still here.
Yeah. And so, that's something every couple months, and now we haven't noticed tachycardia.
It's been a bit, yeah. And if I do, instead of in the beginning, that thing would last a couple of days. I'd have to literally, I'd work through it, and I'd lay down, and then finally I'd feel this thump in the middle of the night, and it reset.
Yeah. Wow.
Or then later on, I would end up going into the emergency room, and they'd give me a shot to stop it, which literally stop your heart and reset it. And so, it's been a journey with that.
And now, if it happens, it's better within.
No, it's just a matter of hours.
Okay.
And so it's a lot better than what it was.
Interesting. Yeah, so much, again, work on. We've started with the heart, but I know there's other things we could do. It's just one thing at a time, but interesting.
Yeah.
It's better. It's good.
I say, well, this is just part of being 70. Right, Bill?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on and sharing your story. Appreciate it so much, and appreciate you.
My pleasure.
And until next time, I'm Dr. Troy Munson on Revealing Wholeness.
Thanks for listening. If you have any questions or comments, you can reach Dr. Munson at 360-893-8586 or email him at chiroman@dr.com. That's chiroman@dr.com. Check out our current workshop schedule on Facebook at Infinity Whole Health.
The information on this podcast from Dr. Troy Munson is meant to educate the listener on a variety of health issues. It is not meant to diagnose or treat any conditions.